All right, here we go. So today it's December 31st, 2021. It's nearing 8 p.m. I am sitting here in my drawing room upstairs at me and my mom's house. Shitten's right here. It's just me and my mom tonight, and nothing really planned for the night except for I'm just gonna meditate while the new year changes, because I notice a huge difference between when I did that going into 2020 versus when I did that going into this year. And my God, did it make the biggest difference. I read my letter already from last year, and it was very short. And 2021 has been a hard year for me. I would say it's been one of the less enjoyable years in the last little bit of years. Just being totally honest. I spent a vast majority of it at home alone, and I spent a lot of that time making YouTube videos for my main channel, Alicia Demi, my animal rights content, and other things like vlogs and whatnot. Probably spent more time doing that than I really want to spend in the future. I always end up saying that I want to do more art and more music. That's the same for right now. I've had a lot of bumps in the road this year with my relationship with my boyfriend Keegan, and in particular 2 really massive blowout fights that almost ended in a breakup. And there's just been a lot of lessons this year for me about my insecurities about my physical appearance and trust issues with Keegan. But I did figure out this year pretty much what I want to do with my life career-wise, and that feels very good. I also did earn money this year through babysitting and realized that I didn't really enjoy babysitting very much, and that I don't really, at this point, enjoy being around kids. This is going to be all over the place, but I'm going to go ahead and talk about things I learned in 2021 and see whatever comes up to talk about while I do that. So I learned the really hard lesson in 2021 to stop badgering and interrogating people. I didn't even really know I did this. I know exactly where it comes from, and I know it also has to do a little bit with having ADHD. My relationship, if you wouldn't have guessed it, was a big indicator that I had a problem with this. The next thing I learned was to give myself permission to take myself seriously as a YouTuber / content creator, and to stop feeling bad about not having a traditional 9-to-5. And to start validating the work that I do as work, because guess what? It is work. This next one is a little TMI, so if you're a blood relative, maybe want to close your ear holes. But I learned that each person in a couple has different ways of expressing love, and not to compare or analyze those different ways and, expect them to be exactly the same ways that you do. And I learned that my partner not being in the mood for sex is not rejection. I know, it was something that I used to take really personally, and I used to take as rejection, so I completely unlearned that. I learned that driving is not hard or scary. I used to have intense driving anxiety, and I would shake. I think it's just because I did not have safe vehicles in the past, so that completely went away. Hooray! Oof, this next one. I learned this year that when you get into a relationship, your boundaries should be stated and respected immediately when the relationship starts. If I were to redo, starting my relationship, I would quite literally write down all of my boundaries on a piece of paper without holding back, and while being completely honest with myself about what those boundaries were. And then I would literally show him the piece of paper and say, if you can't meet all of these, we are not going to even begin dating. That is what I would do if I could redo it. and that if something hurts your feelings, it hurts your feelings, and you don't have to be validated by other people. Like, my biggest example here is, like, if my boyfriend liking another girl's pictures hurts my feelings, then it hurts my fucking feelings, and that's my boundary. And I'm allowed to have that boundary, even if it's not as common of a boundary as other people's boundaries are. It makes no difference. More along the lines with this, I learned that if you stay silent about something that hurts you or is bothering you in order to keep the peace, first of all, why are you like with someone that like blows up when you just say how you feel? But second of all, you just start a war within yourself. Like, let that one sink in. I think I've already learned this in previous years, but I learned that magic and manifesting works, and sometimes it involves you to do deep shadow work on whatever it is that's blocking the thing that you want. Like, sometimes when you do a spell to manifest blah blah blah, the spell is actually going to put you through some hard lessons and struggles to get you to see what was blocking you from that. Or like if you're trying to get rid of something like a mindset or a feeling, a lot of the times the spell will put you through, it'll put you through it so that you learn with great clarity why you are this way, how you came to be this way. Which seems in the moment like, what the fuck, this sucks, what gives, this didn't work. But like, honestly, if that doesn't happen first, it's all gonna be like, it seems like you manifested what you wanted to manifest on the surface, but underneath there's still gonna be problems, and you're not gonna be able to accept it and actually receive it. I hope that makes sense. Ooh, the next lesson is that I learned in 2021 is not to make your whole life revolve around your relationship. Never have the mindset that you won't be able to live without your partner. Never be at your partner's beck and call and constantly available to them, like as if you're just waiting around for them all the time. While also standing up and voicing your needs and standing up to get your needs met without feeling bad about doing that, which is honestly at this point ridiculous that I ever felt bad about doing that. And again, be honest with yourself about what your needs are in a relationship, like before day one of that relationship. Next, in 2021, I learned that having patience for growing things is much more enjoyable than perfectionism, anxiety, and putting way too much pressure on yourself. It really just feels a lot better to be so clear on the things that you want to do in your life and to just know and trust that you will gradually work on them and achieve them than it does to try and be frantically getting things done and just being in that state where you're just jumping from one goal to another. Because when you're like that, you're probably not even doing the things that you authentically want to do anyway, because you're just more in that mode of like, oh my god, productivity, have to prove myself. In 2021, I learned that I don't want a kid anytime soon. In 2021, I read a book called Self-Compassion, and I learned that self-compassion is always more important than having a quote perfect routine, being totally constant productive, and just being perfect in general. Highly, highly recommend that book. Really a theme this year of overcoming perfectionism with my appearance, with the art and music and activism that I do, and with my videos even. And with my relationship, let's be honest. And just with myself as a human being who is healing and growing constantly. The next thing I learned is that some goals need you to take breaks from them and work on yourself. Like, it's okay to take breaks from goals to nurture other parts of your life. It's okay to come back to those goals later if they're just bringing you sadness and frustration. That's a huge one for me. I used to just beat myself up and think I was a failure and a horrible person because I lost the passion for something or I found too much frustration in it. And now I'm just like, no, I understand. Like, you know, in 2020, my whole focus in life was like, oh my God, I have a new relationship that I'm in. You know, your life focuses switch depending on what season you're in. And sometimes it's going hard on a dream, and sometimes it's going hard on a different dream, and sometimes it's all about the people in your life, and sometimes it's like all about your health and spirituality. It just depends, and that is okay. I learned to let go of like the pressure to be consistent, like of doing like 365-day challenges, or just in general trying to do certain things every day, and just realizing like if I don't do something for a couple weeks or a month, that like playing guitar or something, it's really not the end of the world, and I can always pick it back up. I also used to worry so much. Like in my early 20s, I had this huge obsession of a goal to like sing in a rock band. And then after like a year of having that goal, I was like, I'm too old. And I've just really learned to let go of that limiting belief and just really take in and accept that you're never too old and that certain things just cannot be rushed. And sometimes there are, as shitty as it can sometimes feel, things that you are not like mentally or emotionally or some other way ready for, and that it's okay to just trust that if it's meant for you and if you feel that it's something that you will do in your life, then you will at the right time. And you know, just look at nature. Like there's this quote that goes, in nature nothing rushes, yet everything is accomplished. By the end of 2021, I've also learned to prioritize myself. And I've truly learned that if someone wants to walk away from me, not to beg them to stay. Like straight up, no matter who it is in your life, do not ever beg anyone to stay. And that you should never chase somebody or try and prove your worth to somebody in any way. I also learned to like really genuinely and honestly achieve inner peace about past blood relatives that I have had to cut out of my life, including my dad, and just realizing like I will be so happy and have such a thriving life whether we ever do make up or whether we don't. And that it's not in my control, it's not my fault. I've done more than everything I could. And that some people are just not capable of loving in a healthy way, and to just have compassion for them from a distance. And to just feel like so peaceful about it. Like allow yourself to cry and stuff if you need to, but like just be super at peace about it and like let them go. Just let people go if they don't want to be in your life. And when it comes to my goals and manifestations for 2022, I was going to make a video where I publicly announced them, and I was really excited about it, but now, you know, it's been a rough last few days, and a couple of the things are slightly shifted now, and I'd rather just keep them personal and just protect them and maybe just hang them on my wall or something instead, so that I stay committed and reminded about certain ones. So, like, highlights or memories of 2021. I mean, my automatic answer would be, like, laying in bed in my boyfriend's arms. Anytime that I was doing that, pretty much. Climbing up to the top of the watchtower after doing a really hard hike with my mom, and looking out over the mountains and being so freaking terrified because the watchtower is like made out of like toothpicks. Getting a really solid passion for drawing again. And drawing definitely was a highlight for the year. Another highlight would be like that feeling of seeing all of your hard work over the last year pay off with YouTube videos, and seeing like multiple videos now that are over 1,000 views on my main channel, and just feeling like I'm getting the message out to a lot of non-vegans, and that's really cool. Oh, another thing I learned this year is like what I actually want to put my time, energy, and work into, and what I don't. Because at the beginning of this year, I was fucking confused, man. I was fucking confused, and I was just like, well, I'm making videos for fun, but something tells me to like commit to doing this. And now I just feel so much more clear about what I want to do and what I don't want to do, and what content I want to make and what content I don't want to make. And, you know, have I been spending my time most on the things that make me the most happy, or have I been spending my time on not that, you know? And I'm doing a lot of reflection on that right now. But above all that, you know, like above activism and career and trying to be the best me and whatever, I just honestly, as I've already known, I just had the solidification this year that all that really matters is like spending time and being present with your loved ones, in that I literally value quality time and spending time with my loved ones more than anything in the world, and that is not something that I want to change about myself. I think that's beautiful. So I know that 2022 is going to be the best year of my life so far. I know that even though 2020 is a hard year to beat for me, that 2022 is going to be way better. And I'm really excited, and I've already done the rituals and visualizations for the things that I'm going to bring into the new year. Reflecting over 2021 is bittersweet, I will say it. Oh, another highlight is jumping in a river, like a creek really, not really a river, and into like an area where there's a waterfall. It's pretty cool to do that. Another highlight would just be laughing and joking around with my mom or with Keegan. Another highlight would be that I became like such a fierce activist, like so unafraid to do public speaking and outreach to people, and I just became like way more confident in that sense than I ever knew I ever would be. And that's really cool. I definitely don't want to stay at home and be as alone next year as much. Oh, another thing that I realized this year is that I do want to work toward a goal of living off-grid, like in an eco-friendly way, and to eventually grow some of my food, my own plant food, and or, you know, barter, trade for other goods with people, and just participate much less in society. I also read The Beauty Myth this year, which is actually, I still need to finish it, but it really shook my world, and I highly recommend it. I'm just really clear on what my needs and wants are in life now, which is good. I just don't think I will ever work a traditional 9-to-5 job again. I haven't since 2017. I don't know, I just feel like I'm calling it. I'm very confident about the fact that I will have, you know, my own different streams of income through what I create, and that's pretty dang cool. I've become like super comfortable in myself in that way of like not feeling any more needs whatsoever to fit into society or to norms at all. Because once you become an animal rights activist, like there is just simply no more caring what anyone thinks. I've definitely learned a lot about how to not be negatively affected by bullies, even people who physically hurt you, and to just like send them healing and just realize that it takes a fucking miserable fuck to want to be mean to somebody in any way. I learned this year that I was struggling with being independent, and that's definitely something I'm leaving behind in 2021. I've learned that communication is everything, and that, like, there's no fucking point in ever giving someone the silent treatment or going without talking to someone thinking that that's ever going to solve anything, because all that's going to do is create misunderstandings and overthinking and make you not able to focus on anything else in your life. I also really learned about my tendencies with my abandonment issues as well, and I feel like I'm in a place where I can take power over that. I got a lot better about avoiding, like, confrontation or talking to people as well, such as not checking my notifications because I'm too scared someone will say something mean. Like, I really, really made a lot of progress with mean comments and stuff, and just not taking it personally whatsoever. I also learned that while being off your phone and taking no phone days, which I did every week for, like, the better part of this year, is a good and healthy thing and forces you to be in the moment and not be as addicted to your phone and everything. But I also learned that, like, my phone is not the thing that's causing any of my unhappiness or problems. It's literally all just to do with how I feel about myself, how comfortable I am in my own skin, and how I'm being treated by my loved ones, and whether I feel like my needs are being fulfilled. I also learned the numerous ways that I tried to be someone I'm not because I thought it would be something that my partner likes. Just as an example, being an outdoorsy type of person. Like, don't get me wrong, I love nature. I enjoy me a good camping. I obviously like road trips and all of that. But overall, being that person who's outdoorsy, it's not really me. I'm into kind of different things overall than that. I learned not to force my life and my vlogs to just be inspirational to people. I learned that I care more about romantic love than I care about pretty much anything. And I learned also that I'm more interested in living ethically with all of my purchases and everything that I do than I am about anybody's idea of success. Hey, it's into 2022, Alicia here. I just somehow lost the last 3 minutes of me talking through putting this footage that you're seeing up into the video. I really, at this point, just want to let go of 2021 already and just declare and say that for myself and for everyone listening that 2022 is the best year of our lives so far. That we only give our time and energy toward things that are truly worthwhile. That we cherish the present moment and time with our loved ones over everything else. And live life as if our only job is to literally be happy. And be 100% our authentic selves. Welcome, by the way, to my second channel. Thank you for being here. Make sure you're subscribed to my main channel, Alicia Demi, where I do animal rights stuff. This second channel is just all my personal shit and my vlogs and whatever the fuck I want. So if you enjoy my wisdom, by the way, thank you for receiving my wisdom, and I hope that you can apply it to your own life and see what resonates with you and what doesn't. And I hope that I know you will have the best year of your life so far in 2022, because if you say so, then it just will be so, and that's it. And so it is. I'm grateful for all the blessings and lessons that 2021 brought me, and I like who I am as a person way more now than I did at the beginning of 2021. I can say that for sure. Everything's gonna be okay. Happy New Year. Bye!